We're here today to announce the final numbers for 2008. We've closed the books on the overall crime numbers. Earlier, he shared with you the homicide numbers. Clearly, they were available sooner and more accurately. But we've had a chance to crunch the numbers for all of our other major crimes. They're in front of you. What we want to make the point today is that partnerships and problem solving and data analysis save lives. They reduce crime. We're seeing reductions in crime across the board. All our serious crimes declined by over 6% last year. And that translates into 3,000 fewer victims of crime in Milwaukee in 2008 than in 2007. Now, that's significant by any standard. We also want to call your attention to a 10% overall decrease in violent crime. That's homicides, robberies, aggravated assaults, and rapes declined by 10% in the city of Milwaukee last year. Now, we believe this is due to relentless focus and high-quality partnerships. We have a pledge to be a data-driven police department, and every single day of the week, we have a senior command staff meeting attended by everybody at the rank of captain and above in investigations, as well as the assistant chiefs, looking over the last 24 hours of crime number and how those patterns and trends compared to prior years and prior months. On a conference call, we have all 7 district commanders. Every single day, we analyze the numbers. Every single day, we're prepared to adjust our deployments in response to those numbers. As you know, that this has been a strong effort by our district commanders, our investigators, our neighborhood task force have all played a significant role. We've also had some very good success stories, and I'm going to share a couple of examples with you today, just to give you an idea of what quality police work looks like and what quality partnerships can accomplish. Officers Chad Boyack and Nathan Fager were near Hopkins and Chambers, an area known to both officers for high drug trafficking, robberies, and other offenses. At approximately 1720 Chambers, they saw a subject walking in the street with an object cupped in his hand. When he saw the officers get out of their squad, the 32-year-old suspect threw a .25 caliber handgun to the ground. The suspect, a convicted felon, already on probation for burglary, was arrested for being a felon in possession of a firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, for possession of marijuana, and 3 city warrants. Now, that's not just a high-quality arrest. That's an act of crime prevention. When somebody is a high-rate offender, and one of their specialty offenses is burglary, getting them off the street prevents future victimization. Here's an example of how partnerships work. Officers Stephen Witkowski, Scott Lesniewski, and James McNichol, who happen to be behind me, you probably recognize them because they're probably turning crimson right now. They were working with District 3 probation and parole agents, and they conducted what's called a rope visit, which is a repeat offender prevention enforcement visit of an individual suspected of selling heroin in District 3. He was found during this visit, because of course if you go with probation and parole, they get to check on anybody and then nose around a little bit. He was found to be in possession of several bundles of heroin and was arrested. He gave up another person who sells heroin in the Avenues West Historic Concordia part of District 3, which you may recall last February was one of the first of our anti-crime initiatives that we launched with the new strategy. We arrested that subject at home and found 15 bundles of heroin packaged for sale in his house. He then turned around and gave officers information about his suppliers, and we're now investigating whether those involved are linked to robberies and burglaries in District 3. Now, the co-location of probation and parole agents and their working relationships with our officers has resulted in a partnership that is helping us prevent crime. Another significant intervention has been the existence of the Community Prosecutions Unit under District Attorney Chisholm. Now, in a shameless act of sucking up, I noticed that public radio is here. And this morning they did a story about how Eric Holder invented community-based prosecutions in Washington, D.C. And they interviewed several of those community-based prosecutors. Now, it was asserted in that article that this program has been widely replicated across the country. You couldn't prove that by me. I've worked in several states, in a number of jurisdictions, and I have not seen another district attorney's office that practices community-based prosecutions anywhere near to the extent that Milwaukee County does under District Attorney Chisholm. So I don't know what other people say they're doing. I know a lot of people claimed to do community policing years ago, but I think it was mainly to get grant money. Here it's the real deal. Every district station house has a prosecutor. Those prosecutors are very much connected to the life of that district. They recognize different types of cases. You may have a serious offender with a not particularly serious charge. We need to treat that person differently because of the negative impact they have on their neighborhoods. And with this initiative, we've had some significant impact by, again, disrupting the criminal environment in which some people flourish in anonymity and take advantage of lack of cooperation in the criminal justice system. You'll note that burglaries are up slightly in 2008 compared to 2007. They're up by 2%. But spinning good news out of bad, you'll recall that at the end of the first 6 months of last year, burglaries were up by 9%. We made a major initiative in the second half of the year to address that problem, and although we weren't able to reduce it over the course of the entire year compared to the preceding year, the second 6 months of burglaries were less than the first 6 months, and it resulted in that increase. Auto theft number reduction is quite remarkable. That's 15%. And I think it's important for people to realize that when we make a major effort to reduce auto theft, it's not simply a question of reducing an inconvenience to people who are deprived of their use of their car. In communities that are challenged by economic circumstance, that car is a job. That car gets them to an interview. That job gets them to their place of business. And a lot of the people employed in Milwaukee are employed in the kinds of jobs in which there's very little margin for error. If they don't show up for work, they're going to get fired and somebody else is going to get hired. And we see reducing the number of stolen cars as much as anything is protecting people's opportunities to make an income and support their families, as well as reducing the amount of specific crime. We believe the work we're doing is making a difference. Cops count. And we believe that a data-driven, community-based, problem-oriented policing strategy pays dividends, particularly when we recognize that the essence of problem solving is high-quality partnerships with other members of the criminal justice system, with our federal partners, as well as with an active and engaged citizenry.